Hello again there, friends and fans. Raptor here, and welcome to something quite different on the channel. This game known as What We Pretend to Be, where we'll need to set up a farm and supply the war effort, and also deal with losing our friends to that war effort, as well as people will be drafted from our community, which seems to be somewhat of a medieval game. We're going to pick up wheat here and create a wheat farm, and then also build our village here to try to encourage people to have families and then eventually have more employees on the farm, and then of course try to supply that war effort. Now this game is far from being anything sort of complete, or really not even a full-fledged demo really, but it is an early access game that I've gotten access to via Steam. That comes out on December 29th. Now there could be an update too to bring more content to this game, but essentially I thought the concept was quite interesting to be able to go into the woods to gather seeds and then bring them back to your farm in order to then create a farm to fund a war effort for the king. And of course, I liked trying out all sorts of different odd games, as of course they could become something great. Wow, we found a lot of good stuff here. And we're in the woods now, where we can find all these seeds growing freely, the wheat grain really, that we can then plant on our farm and buy upgrades and such to speed up the farming process and hopefully become successful. Now, one thing I know about this game is the more grain that we send, it helps to supply more troops, which means then our people, our possible draftees, could have a higher chance of survival. Like, for example, our character now could be drafted into the war, and then he might have a chance to survive, or he might perish, but we also have a chance of bringing people together to create homes and such for them. So we can bring the wheat to that cart in order to buy supply, and then we can take the supply and then turn it into building materials for the homes. So essentially, find wheat, plant wheat, give to the king, and then we'll be rewarded with supply that either can be sent to the troops or help to build a bigger settlement. War in the east starts again. The town has sent 0 supply for the war effort. So we're going to restart this game here now that I've shown you exactly how it works, and we're going to try to be fruitful with our labor. Chris the farmer gets drafted, so that could be us now. I'm not exactly sure. Looks like he has died, and he might not die if we're fast enough in the next round. Mabel the builder fills the space left by Chris. Life goes on. So this game's all about kind of the waiting between war after we've planted all of our crops and such. That's a really cool image right there of her kind of waiting for him to return. Maybe he's her husband, husband and wife type of thing. I don't know. But then we can take all this wheat and basically build a new house. So let's see if Mabel can do that. Is her name Mabel? Okay, well now we have 10 supplies, so let's see if we can build a new house and see what happens, and then we'll do a restart to see how everything fills in. So now we built a second house. Press E on the controller to shorten wheat growth supply time. So essentially, it's like getting more people to move into the town to tend to the fields, and then of course we can come back to the cart. Now these are the 3 characters at the moment that I'm aware of. We have like the old merchant or the war veteran or whatnot, Chris who just was sent out, and then this lady who might be the wife. Lower right corner, I believe, is how long it is until the next war or until the next season, and then upper right corner is a few things like that. So let's start over, see how productive we can be. Just sit back, enjoy. Good music, beautiful artwork in the background too, by the way. It reminds me a lot of games. I can't quite remember the name of them at the moment, but there's some games where you kind of have to build defenses on the left and right side of the screen. Do you guys remember what those games are called? There's a few like that. Let's see if we can name them all. Where then you have to do recruiting and build houses and then build defenses, but then you also need to build farms and quarries and other things in order to bring in money and building materials to build an empire. Well, this is far from that, but I don't know. I figured it'd just be something cool to showcase. So let's start over and let's see how productive we can be. Alright, so we can also play this game with the controller, and we'll grab some wheat here in the forest. Looks like we only grabbed 1. I wonder if it's random. I think the longer we wait to start, the more these will actually duplicate. And I don't know if there's a secret down here either, but it looks like there might be something down at the bottom of that. I've tried to break that before, but I haven't been able to get through, so I don't know if there's more secrets to this game. It could be more in-depth than we actually think. You might discard it and just say, lame, not for me, but there could be more to this, and it might be actually a somewhat decent game. Alright, we're going to grow some crops now, and we're going to wait until it fully grows. We have to wait for a while, and it'll actually grow, and we can speed up things, as you saw earlier, where once we build our first house, we can then basically hire another worker to make the field grow faster. So now you can see the wheat is now at 3. I think it can grow up to a maximum of 5 in a row, and we planted like 4 or 5 rows. So we're just waiting before the war begins. Let's see. I see 4 or 5. Let's grab what we got now and see if we can start speeding this process up. Okay, so let's go ahead and trade 5 for... oh, we only traded for 3. Oh, that's a different price. Trade 5 for 1 is the ratio there. So, I think what we want to do is try to go grab some more wheat. If it grows in the fields, and we gather it all, we can always return to the forest. There we go. Where it'll grow naturally. We can actually plant here, too. Obviously, you're supposed to plant in the farm fields, but you can actually get started back here. Ah, there we go. Plenty of wheat now. If there's any more. Oh, plenty. Excellent. So when the game first starts, it might be a good idea to hang out for a moment. That might be why we got a better start last time, is that it can actually free grow like that. Jumping hard. There we go. Alright, we sent a little bit of supply. That's really not much. I'm going to try to do this so that way Chris doesn't die. Alright, we have 2 wheat to grow. There we go. We should be able to buy house supply. And then we'll grow the rest. Okay, let's see if we can buy that now. Ah, perfect. So then we just need to shorten that with 5 supply. Now we can grow wheat even faster. So now we're like Johnny Applewheat. We can go around planting that. Now it takes 2 to do that, so... Oh, and it looks like war has started. So we have nothing in terms of supply given, because we're upgrading our town. We'll buy a ton of supply. Now we're at almost 500 supply up there. Over 500. We'll buy another house. And we'll buy ourselves another worker if we can. Shorten the grow time. Now it's going to take 300 supply to do that. And we want to go drop off for the war effort. So essentially all these farms are done. It just is now coming down to how much supply that we give to the army. Let's see. Add 1 wheat or 200 supply. Okay, and so now we're getting more harvested. Oh, this is kind of cool. The music is very somber, but I could see this being a really cool management style game. If they go with this art style, that's pretty cool, but I could also see it as maybe like a top-down game where you could manage workers and field yields and things like that and use other types of supply. in order to build buildings such as maybe metal or iron. A lot of cool concepts around medieval era. At least that's what this feels like. Alright, we've given plenty of supply now. So we could build a new house for 100 supply, or add 1 wheat to harvested. Or I believe we could increase the grow time, shorten grow time by 320. So now it's almost instantaneous. Wow, so look at that. So walking around, we're probably going to be able to get thousands of wheat. We only have 49 now. And this is only going to supply maybe 2 or 3 troops. 12 soldiers. Okay, so the number is half. Mabel gets drafted. Mabel will probably die. And there you go. But now we have the old man to call on. And I think that's kind of what this game is about, that your effort might be futile. Now we play as the old man who you didn't think was a playable character. Life goes on. Now all these plants are ready to go. Maybe this was the old man's thought the whole time. He's a little older, so I don't know if he'll ever be drafted. They might not want an old man to do that, but it doesn't look like there's any other characters that will move into town, though it does seem to simulate the fact that there's more workers because we're building more houses. The village can also be destroyed or attacked as well. So kind of interesting to see that. We're going to kind of go back and forth a few times and see if we can actually get a ton of wheat loaded up here. So what we're going to have to try to do is see if we can get over 100 workers, or rather 100 soldiers supplied by our efforts. We'll see if we can do that. Oh, we could also shorten that grow time. It's pretty immediate now, though. What we want to do is work on volume, I think, as we walk back and forth, tending to the fields. And of course, it's so quick because it's simulating years of war. So let's go ahead and trade for a ton of supply now. We want several hundred supply to max out. We got about 600 there, so we can build a 1 wheat per harvested stock, so we can continue to increase that. See if things continue to grow. There we go. Good area over here for wheat. So we can basically continue to plant it all, although not realistic, all the way this direction. There we go. Alright, so now we just got to go back and forth a few times. And each walk we get about almost 2,500 wheat per walk back and forth. Pretty close. Now, I wish there was more to do in this game, but for whatever reason, I just really like the concept. I want there to be more things to buy, like oxen and maybe defenses where, you know, if we're going to be in the war, perhaps we could defend ourselves and build walls around the town. Have the town be different each time. Maybe have different types of bonuses, like instead of just shipping out wheat, perhaps we could also just make the flour here with a mill. Or perhaps we could make bread here or have a blacksmith. So it'd be kind of cool to have a town that's dedicated to supporting a war effort. Okay, let's keep going. We're going to need a lot of supply here. So we're going to be spending quite a bit of that. Wow, look at that. We've got almost 6,000 wheat. All right, we'll go back once we have 6,000. Should be good there. Okay, let's go ahead and go to the cart. So it's 5 wheat for 1 supply. That's the ratio. And I don't know if that changes or not, so we should walk out of here with over 1,000 supply. Well, that's amazing. But it's still not enough. We need more and more. Okay, what else do we want to do here? Shorten wheat grow. I don't think we need to shorten the wheat growing time anymore. That's almost instantaneous. We want to have a bigger harvest. Build a new house for 100 supply. Add 1 wheat harvested for stock. Okay. That's what we really want right there. Now we got another 1,000 wheat. Actually, what we could do here is kind of just walk back and forth. It is a little broken, but if I stand here, we can continue to sell the wheat that we have for the supply. So really all you gotta do is just walk back and forth like this, and you don't really have to go that far. So we want about, what, 1,600 supply? I don't know exactly when we're going to need to supply the war effort either. I'm not sure how that bar works. At first I thought that was day, then I thought it was season, and then I thought, oh, maybe it's something to do with, like, drafting period? Not entirely certain yet, but... Alright, so we're going to want about 5,000 wheat again before we go home. Okay, we're approaching 2,000. Up over 2,000. I guess this comes down to how quickly you can spam the F key, really. And, let's see, we're at 3,000 now. So we're getting close to 4. Oh, War in the East starts again. Okay, I wasn't even monitoring that bar. We did send 409. Oh, it takes half. Interesting. So it didn't even take our full supply. It looks like it helps about half the amount of soldiers, too. Spets the Merchant gets drafted, so that's us. And we survived. So I wonder if there's a faster early game that you can do in this. But really, there's no other reason to, if, for example, well, the war goes on. The village is abandoned. And we're here alone now. I forgot what I was saying. It's just you now. Pretending. I don't know exactly what that means. So the village is abandoned, which I guess means that it's mission fail because we didn't keep the other people alive. However, it's kind of hard to know that. Honestly, I would say that the fact that we were producing wheat would probably prevent us from being drafted. If this old merchant is pumping out wheat like crazy and can supply 200 soldiers, he's way more useful in the field than he is, oh, well, in the wheat field than the field of battle. Let's try to get up to, wait a bit more here. Now, I don't know what else we can build, but the town was abandoned. Yet, it's not. We're still living here, so we need a house. But I don't know if anybody else can move in either. I don't know. There's a good concept here. I like it. But growing the wheat in front of the houses and stuff is kind of weird. I want there to be more to do. More to harvest, more ways to harvest, more equipment to buy. Just generalized with supply. But again, good concept here. Day-night cycle's interesting. The music's good. All right, let's trade for supply again. We were close to 8,000. And we'll dump all that off. Feels like we're playing Farming Simulator right now with like a giant grain cart dropping off an astronomical amount of like wheat. And we are good, almost to 2,000. Build a new house for 100 supply. And if we try to do that, it doesn't allow us to do that. So I guess it's really about how quickly we can do any sort of harvesting. Okay, let's restart one final time and see if we can keep Chris or the other lady alive and see what happens. I'm not exactly sure if this is the way it's supposed to go or what. Okay, we're purposely waiting to see if more wheat grows. We've gathered one. I don't see any of the other wheat gathering, so we're going to keep going. Going to try to keep Chris alive. As you can see, it's a very limited time before what could be the war breaking out. I guess good not to fall down there either. There we go. Okay, so we only start with 12 wheat. Not great. And I'm not sure what the maximum is either for it to grow. Might be just 3. Still waiting. So for the first season, we must have to wait. What is that red bar doing? Wonder if it tells us anywhere. Yeah, there's no options menu, no escape. It's, I don't know, the game just is kind of just, I don't know, interesting to me. Okay, we'll wait a little bit more. Okay, looks like we got a bit of wheat growing now. Then we'll just wait to harvest it. Very detailed landscape for something that's kind of not explorable. Like I said, we can't go down here, but there's got to be more to this game. There's something that I'm missing, I would like to think. I'm probably wrong, but this is just the way I want to picture it. We'll go here and collect more of the wild wheat. Of course, we can't go past these vines here. There's no way past. There seems to be a bridge down here that we can drop down to. And it looks like we can get hurt, but there's no, like you can see we're, like, taking damage, but that doesn't matter. Like, we can just climb up the side of the hill. So it's obviously incomplete somehow. And there's no way to drop down from this beam over here again. Oh, it looks like the war started. So it seems to be that bar has something to do with stability or chances of peace or something. I'm not exactly sure. Time until we're drafted. But Chris will die again. Because we waited for all that, all the other wheat to grow. So let's see if we can keep the lady alive this time around. She actually might have a chance. Look at all that wheat as we let things grow. It's too bad that the person whomever is going to war kind of dies right away. There's no, just like they get drafted and then immediately die. There's no like 2 months or training or anything like that. There's got to be something down there too. Okay, so 240. We'll walk back, grab all this stuff. Try to keep it in somewhat of a smaller area, perhaps. So we'll go from here to the start of the town. Now we can send, what, about 100 supply? Which will give us, we could build a new house, which will give us the ability. So first we have to build a house, then that gives us the ability to harvest, or for it to grow faster, or to have more than like 3 or 4 stalks grow. That's definitely something we need. Let's get that supply. And we'll need a little bit more. There we go. Then we need, I think, another 100 here. Oh, 5 supply. Then 10. Kind of keeping an eye on that bar, but I don't know exactly. I don't know if that means, like, lack of supply means that they'll come and draft. Maybe that's the current need for supply. And if they don't have supply, then they'll just draft troops. To, like, use pitchforks or something? I don't know. Seems to slightly be moving. Okay, we can build another house, which gives us more upgrades, so let's shorten grow time. And I think it was half of the supply equals troops, so if we give them 100, it supplies 50? Wow, now we're really rocking by year 2. Much faster. We'll leave that wheat on the left side to grow while we go do upgrades. So let's add wheat. And we need to shorten wheat grow time, I think. No, it's pretty immediate now. Bar is all the way to the right. Perhaps that's the tug-of-war of who's winning the war. And if it goes too low, then we get drafted because we're nearby locals and we might know the lay of the land, that type of thing. But we also want to grow and use grow our town. I don't know. I don't understand why I like this so much. I don't get it. I think it's just because nothing's really known, and it's just kind of a silly game. I don't know. I don't know. I just want to play this. You ever feel that way where you just want to play a game and just be like, is this good? Oh, there's war in the east again. 453 supply. We send half of the war effort. Oh, so it's like a tax. 113 soldiers. Wow. So really we need double. Mabel gets drafted. And Mabel dies. What the hell? Is it just a interactive novel that's just trying to teach you something? Spets the merchant fills the space and life goes on. But now the town is just going to be abandoned. So by the time the next war breaks out, what's his name? Spez? Spez is going to go to war soon, but nothing's really going to happen because he's likely to survive. Or would he... What if I die instead? What if we purposely spend all of our supply on the town? Are there alternative endings? I don't know. I really want to know, though. I don't really want to shorten the supply, grow time, though. It's pretty immediate. But if I add a new house... Now let's go back to the cart. Now, the king also only takes half of our supply, but... I don't know what else we can spend it on. Takes like days to deliver all the wheat too. Here we got almost 1,000 supply. Let's add 1 wheat. And then let's build another house. I want to build another house to see if it gives us another option. I'm pressing E, but it's not allowing me to build a new house. There must not be any other upgrades available. I think there should be another house to be built here on that plot of land, but it does seem to be the edge of the map. So it seems like speed and number of wheat growing in each field increases. Bez is likely to going to survive, though. But let's try to see if we can get him killed on purpose, just to see what happens. I'm going to try to go for 800 supply and then sell it. Okay, there we go. Alright, we're going to try to see if we can keep our supply minimum. I just want to see what else happens. Well, glory to Raptoria if you've gotten this far in the video. Thanks again for watching, and welcome again to all the new subs, and thanks for smashing the like button over the last year. It is a good time to just thank you guys for the constant support. Some of you new here for the first time and just checking out the channel being like, WTF is this? I'm not subbing to this. Other people probably here for every video and hanging out, so whoever you are or wherever you're from, thanks for dropping in. And I always like to try out games even if they're weird or confusing to understand or wonder what they might be about, so that way if it eventually becomes something more full-fledged, if a concept then eventually becomes like a full more developed game, that's a good thing. There's been plenty of games that have been on websites such as there's a few that go on quick build websites or like build jam or game jams that eventually become more full-fledged projects, such as I believe Faster Than Light was a type of game that did that as well. So thanks again for all the support, not only for me, but also just tons of indie devs out there who are getting started. Games like Hydroneer this year were big on the channel, and a lot of indie devs just kind of reaching out and saying, hey, I have a game and I'd like you to try it out. So you never know what's going to be a gem or what's a concept, or somebody just kind of trying to make something and getting feedback for another project. Sometimes that's a thing too, where this game could be a part of a much bigger game coming out. Who knows? I'd love to see more. I love the clouds in the background. It's gorgeous, no matter how many times I've seen it. All right, let's try to go for 1,600. We'll try to go for 1,600 supply. We'll drop off what we got. And that's supposed to give us more wheat per... We're not going to have enough, but we'll come close. That should give us more wheat per row. Ross per row. Okay. We're pretty close. We'll get almost another 2,000. Looks like that red bar is almost filled up. Let's head back. Gonna try to get close to 1,600. And then I just want to drop off. Wow, so now 3,200. So it just doubles each time to increase the amount we get per field. Alright, so now purposely we're going to try to not plant, rather deliver for supply to see if Spez can be killed. I'm not sure. I don't know what would happen. I don't know exactly why it says pretending for the other ending. I don't know. Seems like there's more to this game, and I just want to see if I unlock it, if there's going to be something huge here. Well, there we go. Alright, so we've delivered one... Oh, 0, okay. Well, technically, I guess you can't divide 1 by 2. Let's see what happens. Merchants drafted. And survived, really? And the war goes on. But now the town should be abandoned, right? And the village is abandoned. It flashed very quickly, but I want to see what happens. It's just you now pretending, right? I don't know. Well, we can't build any more houses. The houses disappear, so upgrades are done, basically. So now all we do is endlessly supply the war effort. Yeah, no more houses I can buy or build, so... Alright, well, whoever's working on this game, I want to see more. This is definitely proving that it could be interesting if they expand on a full-fledged game. I mean, they'd have a long way to go. This would be a cool little 5-minute demo of kind of a cookie clicker thing. Trying to be more serious, but not even with many of those upgrades. But that's fine. Putting out concepts and such is always a cool thing, and I didn't pay a dime for it, and I'm assuming it'll probably be available for free to try out, and then eventually offer a bigger game, unless it has early access plans. Alright guys, well that's it for now. Thanks for joining. I'll see you next time. Unusual, but I wanted to give it a try. Thanks very much for the support. Don't be afraid to say hi down below in the comment section. Giveaways for the end of the year on the Discord, and also follow me on Twitter too, where I drop game keys continuously. So thanks again for the support, and we'll see you all next time. Thanks everybody for being here. Have a fantastic and positive day, and we'll see you soon. Goodbye.